Hello, what is up, folks? We are back with another podcast for you. I'm Melvin.
I'm Connor.
I'm Ricardo.
And I'm Michael.
And welcome back to The Way We Play, episode 4, right? Episode 4.
Maybe not.
I may.
Whatever
we
episode
don't know anymore. We don't know how
the
to
best
count.
podcast no one listens
our
to.
Our college degree did not teach us how to count, all right? No,
Just look down at the description of the video. I'm sure that's got a number in it.
Yeah.
I got like 2 fingers up, 3 I don't know.
I don't know. You can count on one hand. I know that for a fact. So I'm in that ballpark. All right. What 0 through 5? We have 0 through 5 so far. All right. So I guess before we start with our usual topics, does anyone have any games that they would like to talk about, or any like gaming stories? If you guys have any gaming stories, I would like to hear some of them. If you have any.
Don't have any gaming stories right now. I've just been playing a lot of Destiny 2, getting ready for the PC launch because I'm just switching to the PC because Xbox is fun, but you know it's not going to be as beautiful as that PC is going to be.
PC Master Race.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But you know they tricked me and got me to pay for the game twice, so congratulations, Destiny. I couldn't wait the month or whatever you guys delayed that release, so.
All right. What about you, Ricardo? You got any games that you are excited for, or any gaming stories you had so far? I know for a fact. I remember I went to your place last week, and you were playing Fallout 4, but you modded it to look like Doctor Who.
Yes.
Do you want to explain that for a little bit, just real quick for a minute?
Like as in explain like how
how it's played. How do you play that Doctor Who Fallout 4 mod?
Well, you see, Melvin, in the
30 seconds or less.
Oh gosh darn it! You always look. Okay, so you go online, you get the mod, you download it, you install in your game.
Just how to play the game, not the downloading part. We know how to download mods.
Okay, so basically you make a character, all that stuff, and then when the game starts, you just get a quest to like you get like some of your memories back. It's just like, oh shoot, wait, I'm an alien. I've been trapped here, and then you go find that ship, the TARDIS, and you try to fix that thing, and then once you fix it, and then you get these abilities, you get your abilities back, like you'll be able to like change your appearance when you die every time and all that stuff. Then you have a TARDIS, you better go randomly anywhere in the world, get like a player house kind of thing.
All right.
Going on, and you get to wander around.
Is it a pretty long adventure, or is it kind of short?
It's a kind of shortish adventure, you know.
Okay.
Not too much. Right now, it's kind of like in its early stages, but it's on hiatus because the creators are currently busy. A lot of them are either like the team has separated and one of the creators is currently in school like now, like us. We're in school, so there's not much you can really do. So
Gotta be learning things.
Knowledge.
Okay. I was gonna say that's pretty cool though because another Bethesda game that I play is Skyrim on the PC, and I have a Doctor.
We'll talk about Skyrim today.
Yeah, well, I got a Doctor Who mod on that, so every time my character like gets too low on health, I go back to the character customization screen, and I thought that was a pretty cool one. So I should have checked out the Fallout one. That sounds interesting.
All right. Anyone else with something about new games or just gaming stories in general?
I've been playing a lot of Fortnite, the Battle Royale version. It's like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG, but it's a lot more building, so it's still really hard. Okay. I'm really bad at it.
All right. Awesome. For me, I don't know if I should be excited for this or I should feel I should like remind myself how old I am, but like I don't know if you guys know what Project Fusion Fall was.
Ooh, Fusion Fall, yes.
Do you guys?
Sorry.
Do any of you know what Project Fusion Fall is?
I have not heard
Basically,
of it.
the early 2000s to mid 2000s were just nothing but like the MMO phase, and the MMO phase was when everyone just making MMOs like just nonstop. You know, like
EverQuest.
It first started with RuneScape. That was what popularized it. Then eventually, other games came in. I can't think of the list, but Fusion Fall was one made by Cartoon Network. It was like this full 3D game. All the characters were basically now teenagers, so it was sometime in the future, something like that. And now someone is trying to bring it back. They're trying to bring back, it's not Cartoon Network, but someone is trying to like sort of bring back the old style of the game.
That's cool.
And I don't know if I should be excited or just feel upset of how old I am, because that was a long time
so
ago.
Are they bringing back just like the look of the game, or are they bringing back?
They're trying to bring back the game. That's what they're trying.
Okay.
There are 2 things going on. One of them, they're working on like, one of them is like bringing the normal game as it was before it was like shut down, like Fusion Fall Classic. But they're also working on like an expansion kind of thing, like adding new things that wasn't in the original game, like original assets, updating the graphics, all that stuff. So there's like 2 versions that they're working on: the classic one and like a new updated one with new stuff.
This was a pretty bold game for Cartoon Network at the time. Like they were just focusing on shows, but then they decided to just make this huge game for free for everyone. So it's pretty insane that they did it in the first place. But to see it come back, to me, that's even more insane. I can't believe someone's that dedicated enough to bring back an old MMO.
That's one thing I really do like. You start seeing that a lot nowadays with a lot of those old games coming back, because a lot of those kids who grew up playing them are now in the industry.
Yeah.
And they're
that
like, what happened to these games? And they're like, well, let's bring them back. I know people want to play them.
Yeah, you have to remember that, like, things do inspire people. Like I watched YouTube at a very young age, which is probably what inspired me to like get into like video making and things like that. And I don't know, that's like a different story, but like you see YouTube now and like what 5-year-olds are watching now, and it's like, oh man, I don't think they shouldn't get into video making with the stuff they're watching now.
Real.
But again, when you're young, it really does develop your brain into things you will enjoy in the future. So seeing people dedicated from future, because it was a good game, honestly, for kids, for something that was free, it was enjoyable. It wasn't the best, it was pretty tedious, but it had its appeal to its fans and as a game as a whole, and I'm glad to see someone dedicated enough to bring it back.
Well, I hope they flesh it out and make it a lot
I hope
better.
they do. I want to actually play it with friends for once, because I didn't play with any friends at the time, because that was a time where like not many people had computers that could run anything. It was very rare. Well, that's probably why it didn't do as good, because it looked better than RuneScape, so it means you needed a decent computer at the time.
Yeah, that was definitely the era of the LAN parties, or like going over to a friend's house and just playing on extra controllers, which obviously modern age is like almost died with the ease of online gaming.
But honestly, with a $200 laptop, I'm pretty sure you can run the game. Not super well, but you could run it decently. So that's good to see.
Yeah.
So let's get on with the topic. So I would like to start with Cuphead personally, because we didn't get to that last time. Last time we were cutting it a bit short. So now we have all the time to talk about Cuphead. Is there anything someone wanted to talk about last time but didn't get a chance to?
I just love the art style. I think it's just so beautiful
1930.
of a game. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 60 frames per second, hand drawn. That is just the most appealing part of the whole game, is that they went above and beyond they could have made it 24 frames per second, but they went 60. So that to me, that's insane. That requires dedication.
Yep.
Yeah, I just seen. I haven't played the game myself yet, but I've seen a little bit of gameplay, and even like the characters, like, I don't know, like just the way they act in the world fits so to that art style too. It's not like just the art style. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like even the movements of like every character just feels like that old Steamboat Willie art style and that animation, which is like a really fun nostalgic thing to almost a group of people who really never experienced those old cartoons. And
Yeah, for sure. I really do appreciate it. A game that it reminds me heavily of, and is one of my favorite franchises out there, is Metal Slug. It has that similar 2D kind of aspect where you're kind of shooting in limited directions, not all 8 directions, but limited directions. And yeah, what I loved about that game too was how smoothly that game ran too. It used pixels instead of being hand drawn, but at the time that game was incredibly beautiful, and it did take the time to be, super smooth, have the animation smooth. So basically, it looked as good as it played. And Cuphead is the same way, so I'm glad it's bringing back that genre. And I would like to see an interview of the creators, because I want to know what games they grew up with. Because I had that feeling of Metal Slug, so I would like to see if they played it growing up, and maybe they did. Maybe they played Contra, I don't know, but I would definitely like to see that. So maybe I'll talk about this next week just to see what they played, just because I'm very, very curious, and I didn't check that up. I wasn't thinking about it at the time. But Cuphead, I don't know what's with games now, but so many games are bringing controversy, and I feel like I don't know why, but a game is bound to bring a controversy when it really doesn't need to, but it can allow for some form of dialogue. So for any of you who don't know, Cuphead, it's a hard game. It's a very, very, very
really
difficult game.
Yeah.
But the tutorial itself was not made to be difficult. But one journalist, I don't know his name, and even if I did, I wouldn't say it because it's utter embarrassment. He spent over 20 minutes on the tutorial, and that has led to so many parodies of other channels. My personal recommendation is Oni Plays. He made fun of the 20-minute tutorial of trying to like jump and dash. So it's just jumping and then pressing another button while moving one direction. It's that simple. You do it in Mario, you do it in almost any platform game, and this guy couldn't do it. This guy couldn't do it. 9. And this you kept seeing videos and articles bringing up this question: do gaming journalists need to be good at games? So let's just start at the end, and we'll move our way down and just answer the question. And
I believe like it's in your job title. You're a gaming journalist. You should probably know at least semi how to play video games at a basic level. Like that is the easiest combo in like all video games. Jump and dash. You learn that in day 1. So I don't know. I was just gonna like
say,
I don't think they should all know how to play Dark Souls like 200% success rate, but
But what if the guy who sucks at platformers is an amazing Dark Souls player? I mean,
that's true. That is the thing. Yeah.
Then he should stick to.
I could probably play a game like Cuphead, but Dark Souls is probably something I cannot review.
Yeah.
If I was ever a gaming journalist.
Yeah, it's like I just don't know. Like when you're a gaming journalist, it seems like you just kind of cover everything. So it's hard when you get a game that you're like, if you're not excited about it or it's not your genre, you can really kind of start seeming like an idiot, or your interview can really come off bad, like your like whole article on it. So I think there's something about like that journalistic integrity where maybe it's like, hey, I'm gonna go play a platformer this weekend. Maybe I pick up Mario on like you just Google the word Mario, I think, and you can play it. I don't know. Like, so I think there should be. I don't know. I probably would never release content where I was that bad.
Ricardo, can you quickly look this up for me? Can you look up where that journalist worked for? Because I know for a fact that GameStop are really bad with platformers. Not GameStop, GameSpot. I always confuse the two because of the one letter difference. GameSpot, not GameStop. But GameSpot, they're really bad at platformers. For the new Super Mario Brothers for the Wii, they called it one of the hardest platformers of that time. Like it was old school tough. They were calling it so. Wow. That's just my curiosity, but yeah, like they're really bad with platformers. But yeah, like I see his argument of where. Like again, some people are really good with Dark Souls and some people just suck at platformers. That's how it is. If you're just asking me the general question, yes or no, I'm going to say no. I don't think it's a requirement. I don't think you should make it a requirement. Like, play 10 hours of Mario Bros, play 10 hours of Zelda to be a good gamer. You definitely should if you want to be good at your job. But I don't think you require it because I think every journalist needs to find their own path. Like if they're bad at platformers and they still want to review it, I think they should. I think they could give some sort of insight for people who maybe want to make platformers easier for people, or maybe some who want to make it harder for other people. Like we need those different levels of criticism so that we can understand how to improve the game better. Because maybe Cuphead in the sequel, maybe they'll add an easy mode. Maybe they'll add an easier mode. We don't know. We don't know if this will inspire them. We have no idea. But any criticism will help the game further. So I don't think any person should be like, no, you've never played Mario Brothers, so you shouldn't play this game. I think they should, because maybe they'll have some sort of criticism that will benefit the gaming industry. Anyone can.
One thing I do think that is really nice about maybe journalists not being good at every game and stuff is you do get that fan kind of ideas, like where I myself might not be good at a platformer, but if I know and like a journalist goes in and he's like, I don't pick up platformers all that often. I'm a first-person shooter guy, but I picked up this one and I played it for 20 minutes. It was difficult in those 20 minutes, but after that I got the rhythm and I found myself liking it. That's a way better review to me. Is I'm like, I can actually relate to that. But like, I think if I had a journalists that were just good at every game and they're like, oh yeah, you kind of fly right through it. I'm like, I don't know if I want to pick that game up yet. Like when I hear someone struggle with it, but then overcome that struggle and come out the other end feeling they accomplished something, it makes me feel like, that's something I want to do.
I would definitely rather have like a unique review rather than like an IGN review where it's just like they're just going to give a score based on the general appeal of the game and not based on their personal preferences, because that's definitely one of their criticisms. I want people to, if they're bad at platformers, I want them to talk about it in their review. As long as they bring it up and say, hey, I was bad at platform, I didn't even beat the game, then fine, just tell me that in the review. Don't add it at the end saying, oh, I only beat half of it. Say it at the top, I didn't beat the game. It was very hard. Here's my review. Go.
So people know like exactly what kind of person's playing the game, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think understanding the person. That's why I sometimes when I watch a Let's Play, I will like the game that they're playing because I'm seeing what they're doing firsthand. And if you can do the same thing with a review, then that review will be just as valuable to me as someone who's an expert Mario player who can beat Kaizo Mario 5 times blindfolded, telling me the same review. If you can give me details on your experience, I think you're fine. I don't think you need to worry about being good at it or not. But at the same time, this might give another criticism to the gaming industry, how sometimes you need to just play a game right away. Like, as soon as you get the game, you have to play it 12 hours straight, no break, to get your review done on time. I feel like that's a little bit, I was almost about to swear there. I think that's a little bit, just
crazy.
not it's crazy. It's crazy for a reviewer to have to play the game nonstop until they're done just to get the review out on time. I feel like that's insane. And that might, maybe some people that might lead to kind of a more difficult experience.
I can also imagine a few of those reviewers must have a little bit of hard time whenever they get like early copies and those like publishers or like the game people walk into.
Yeah, they expect you to be good. They expect you to beat the game. They expect you to understand everything about the game, to give it a clear review. Like that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
and sometimes you're not on your A game all the time when you play games for a living. Like not. You see Let's Players all the time. They're horrible at the games that they play, and they play games all the time. It really depends.
To
on the
be
situation.
fair, a lot of Let's Players are personalities, and that's
they're
why
more
people
personalities. That's fair.
It, yeah.
But gaming journalists, they know the game more than Let's Players do. But still, the amount of hours you play in a game does not qualify quality. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
and that's like the big part of video games too, is you're not supposed to be good at it the day you pick it up. Like I read this great quote once. It was like, you're never reading a book and then halfway through the book's like, what's the main plot? And like if you can't tell it the main plot, you can't advance farther. Like you never listen to music. It's like let's see your moves to this song, or you can't listen to the next song. It's like video games, you can be stuck on a level forever. Like that happens. Like if you're not good enough to get past this, you're stuck here. And that's something I really like about video games. It's like it's worth, when you get to the end, you're like, not everyone can do this. I accomplished something that took effort and skill, and I had to hone those effort and skill. Yeah, it reminds me of, like, because I'm in a class called media criticism where we criticize media, and they always say, don't just tell us, like, don't just tell us, like, show us as well. So if it's going to be hard, show us why it's hard. Tell us like what level exactly was difficult and how that level was difficult itself. That way we can get a clear idea. And tell us how many times you play through a level just to finish it. Tell us that, so we can get a clear idea of the game. Sometimes when people explain that, I will understand the idea of the game and what I'm going to get myself into. Sometimes just understanding one person's perspective will easily tell you whether the game is good or not to you, or whether you think it's good, worth the purchase.
Yeah, and with a lot of online reviews, you can add in a screenshot of what level you're on, so you could just like plug that into your journal. And
in my mind, a lot of like video game reviews and like where the articles for that stuff come from stems from like the early days of video games, where the reviewers, the people who review games, were your friends at school who were like, I played this game, it was hard, and like that's what made you buy games, because no one was really covering that in the early days. Like they were just kind of this niche market. Stuff would come out, you're not reading articles like we do today, where companies are dedicated to it. But like, so I think that sometimes those interviews need to go back to that mindset. Like, hey, instead of our viewers or whatever doing this, we're your friends trying to tell you about a game that's either good or bad, and trying to help you decide if you want to spend $60 or whatever dollars on that thing, because they're not cheap games anymore.
Yeah. Oh, excellent segue. So me and Ricardo saw a review, or a video on the Jimquisition. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he was kind of giving a theory to games are not $60 anymore.
Oh, yeah.
They're sort of going up more because of the added DLC, because of the added expansions.
The season passes.
Season pass, all those things is sort of adding up to the total value. So most games are not $60 anymore. They're sort of like I would say now it's like $80.
Entry points?
I would say $80. Usually Ricardo, how much was the expansion for Destiny?
For Destiny?
Yes. Do you remember the price?
I don't remember the price, no. But I do remember like people spending more than $100 if they bought Destiny day one and then get every DLC after that.
I believe it's like the $100. Like when you bought it day one, like you get the expansion pack and you get all the DLC that comes with it. I believe that's how much it is.
I think that sounds right to me.
So what's the difference between an expansion pack and DLC?
I wish I knew. I think expansion packs just means like more stuff to it. It's just bigger than one. Because I think when I think of DLC, I always think of like one individual item, and an expansion pack is just like almost a completely different game. Like what's that, Ricardo? What's that expansion pack for Destiny? It was like the Lynch King or something like that. Was it something King?
I think
That's definitely not
King.
Destiny.
No, but I think
that's WoW.
That's WoW. Okay.
Oh right.
Okay, it's something King, isn't it?
The Taken King.
The Taken King.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
That sounds like I think that might be Destiny 1.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about Destiny 1.
We're talking about Destiny 1.
So like okay. So yeah, that wasn't that like. I feel like that was like $20 or $40.
Well, that was the actual. I believe the Taken King.
But like
was
many
the
were
actual
saying
game.
that was basically an entirely different game. Like some people, well, not like entirely
That's
different.
what people
but, like,
were waiting for.
People were saying that was like another game added on top of what Destiny was already.
Destiny barely was a game though. So it was like,
before
here's the story.
Yeah, so it's like so it's insane. So that's what my idea of an expansion pack is. I'm not too sure. But yeah, like you have to buy an entirely separate thing to get a good experience of the game. And every company's now like in on this. Not every company. Now Nintendo's also in on this. Nintendo's been doing this now because in order to get the full experience of Mario Kart 8 and not Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but Mario Kart 8, you have to get the DLC for the extra tracks. It comes with like 16 extra tracks if you pay the like $12, and it comes with extra characters. Same thing with that. Smash Brothers too. You have to pay like $40 to get all the characters both on the Wii U and the 3DS. So for Smash, I paid like $140 to get the full experience of Smash Brothers both on 3DS and the Wii U.
Dude, I did the same thing. Yeah, they get you. I would love to go back because they're Bethesda's record of it and find the first people to make you pay for that downloadable content. That went, we didn't finish the game. Here's the finish bit. Like,
it's definitely Call of Duty. They definitely
Call of Duty did it early on, but I wonder if there's got to be games early that did some sort of downloadable content at that point. Just even
there
be
is.
classified.
I remember this. This was a story. It was like a YouTube video, and it was really cool. So there was this game that came out on the Dreamcast. You guys know what the Dreamcast was?
Yeah,
it was a system, and it had the ability to go online. And there was this game that had bits of the game locked inside the code. And in order for that code to unlock, you would have to come back to the game like months within. And these were just simple things. These were just like costume changes. So it was like, the first time that St. Patrick's Day came on, you had like a St. Patrick's Day outfit. The first day Halloween came on, you had a Halloween outfit. First day, Christmas came out, you had Christmas out. So this was like a basic form of DLC, but it was all free. It was like, it just came out within the time, like later on in the year. But what happened was that game came out pretty much after the Dreamcast was dead. So no one ever
got those things?
Yeah, no one ever got those things really who played it and really wanted it. No one really got the chance to because the servers were down, unfortunately, for Sega. But then someone just found it, and now you're able to hack the game on a ROM and get it. But that's one of the first, that was like either like 2000 or 2001. So that's one of the first early instances of DLC. Fun fact. See,
but it was free.
It was free.
It was free.
Yes.
It was free. No one was using DLC as a selling point. Now, and the fact that Destiny was using the Taken King as a selling point, honestly, is an insult to the gaming industry, in my opinion. Maybe I'm going a little bit too far with that saying, but the game, you should sell me on the game. You should never sell me on the DLC. Yeah. And I saw Rockstar doing that too. Right? There was like this sort of like heist mission that you could get with GTA Online or something like that. So like now games.
But I thought I'm pretty sure GTA though, none of the DLC, you don't have to pay for anything in the DLC. Every DLC is free.
Is that free?
Yeah, at least that I know. I mean, I haven't played it in a little bit, but I mean, every DLC I believe up to this point has been free. Okay. It's just there are cars in it that you can then buy money packs. So if you're like, I don't want to grind, I want the cool things from the DLC now, that's where they get you. Like, you can buy a money pack.
Okay.
So that's one thing I do respect GTA for. They're not like, you want all the rest of the cool shit? Give us money. It's like, you can just actually pay to get the stuff now, or you can work for it doing the actual game. So that's a more fair way to do it, I think.
With the way you described it, it sounds very fair. It sounded like you had to pay for the DLC in the commercial, but I could have been wrong because I don't play GTA Online. I just play the regular game. I'm not really a GTA Online kind of guy.
Yeah, with GTA Online, I believe I will say like they've come off very much like, oh, we don't make you pay for DLC. They are definitely making you pay for DLC. They are somehow they are doing it. I know they are, because I don't think it's possible for a game to come out this modern day to not do it, just because like.
Yeah, it's kind of impossible now.
Yeah,
you just won't make money.
Ricardo, how much money have you spent on Fire Emblem DLC?
Oh, dude, Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, dude, that's like it costs more than the base game. Dude, like $10 more. I think it was like $50.
So what is your total? So that's $90.
More than 90 because I've spent money on DLC from Fire Emblem Fates and Awakening.
And how different was the experience after playing the DLC?
After playing the DLC,
Yeah.
I'd say like in like Awakening, it was a lot better. Like it was like.
Did you feel like that DLC was a necessity for the full experience?
I feel like it felt like that feeling kind of lessened as the newer ones came out. Like Awakening, yeah, I kind of like it. You know, there's a lot of stuff in there. I'd say that I like personally. Fates, kind of iffy-ish, but it's alright. Especially like the last batch of DLCs, which with the kids and stuff and all that storyline. Shadows of Valentia, not really.
Not really.
Not really. No. Not that one. Not
And
too
that
much.
one was the one that was more expensive than the game, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I do think though that DLC does have its place, and the idea that like a lot of games don't, like modern games that are being made now look good, so they probably won't be remade until big advancements in graphics happen. So it's nice when the company's still making DLC for a game, because you feel like they haven't given up on it. Like there's still someone cares about the game as much as you do, and it's a little bit of extra content you get. Maybe not like a full new game of the world, but maybe you get a little bit more. But it's like when DLC gets more pricey than the game, or they're trying to sell you in the season pack, like day one, you're like, I don't even know what the DLC is yet. Don't try to sell me it. Like
it's really crazy.
Yeah. Or yeah. Go ahead.
I guess my wish for like. Okay, like my main wish for the AAA gaming industry is stop focusing on these huge open worlds, because I feel like that's the thing that's taking up the most time in these games, and that's what's making the price like expensive and like relied. Because like, you know, when I don't know if you guys have seen Assassin's Creed Origins, but like it's so huge and there's like so much stuff going on. But it's like, honestly, I don't really need that in a game. I don't really need this huge. I don't need a huge open world for every single game I play. You know, Assassin's Creed, Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row, gosh, what is that? The Red Dead Redemption 2, you know,
Yes.
I don't need an open world for all of these games. Like, make some of your games more linear, like Max Payne, something like that, or like Uncharted. You know, give me a linear style. Don't give me this huge open world every time, and lower the price down for some of your games. Don't make all of your games $60. I feel like, especially if they're going to have DLC down the line. If they're going to have DLC down the line, I definitely feel you should lower I think $40 would be a much better asking price if you are going to make your DLC around the $20 range or more than $20 range. Because I feel like that's because then I would love to pay for the DLC, because then I would personally feel I would not be getting the full experience, and that the DLC would be required for that. So
I feel like video games would do very well being sold at $40. Like $20 bills gets you a video game. That's something feasible for kids in this modern day, like with prices and stuff like that. Because I always think about like that. Like I'm someone who, like, you know, works my part-time job in college. You know, I can buy my own video games. You know, when I buy a video game, I buy it for myself. You know, there's no mom or dad buying it for me. But like, I can't imagine the kids growing up now who only like have to get their games to their parents, so they're like, well, I want this game, and they're like, well, you get one, and you're like, oh, okay. It's like $60 is a climb for a kid. Like
$100 would pretty much buy you both games, including with taxes, you know. So that's, to me, that's a better deal, because then you are more likely to, I feel like you're more likely to enjoy the game if it's a lower price. You're just going to enjoy it overall. I feel like $60, you're expecting a lot from the game, and if it doesn't meet those expectations, you're just going to sell it or throw it away.
The problem with the $60 price point is that kids can't pay for that. So they just jump onto free-to-play games and ruin that community.
That's the thing too. Yeah, they're just going to go to free-to-play games anyway. So you have to start. AAA companies have to be competitive with their prices now. They have no excuses anymore with things like League of Legends, where people are just spending hours and hours and hours of their time playing the games, and then plus there's PC gaming. So it's like now console gaming kind of has to be that they have to start being really competitive now. Even
mobile gaming too. I would argue like a lot of kids are now sitting with their phones. You know, there's Game Boys aren't sold as much, things like that. Kids rather just play whatever. I don't even know any mobile
Clash
games.
Royale,
I refuse to get into mobile games.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much how it is right now. The gaming industry, at least for consoles, they really need to start making a quick change. Because oh my gosh, the next generation. Honestly, I wasn't a big fan of this generation. There wasn't that many WoW games that I just really wanted. There was always something that ruined a really good-looking game to me.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, like it's,
at this point, Elder Scrolls 6 is like Half-Life 3. We'll never get it.
Well, speaking of Bethesda, you're really good at segues this episode.
You are good.
Segue guy.
I want to take this time to talk about Bethesda's Creation Club. Because this is essentially, we were talking about, Skyrim mods and Fallout 4 mods. This is essentially a way to pay for the mods, or pay for aesthetics, any
Mini
little
DLC.
Can you even call it DLC?
I don't know.
I don't know. You can barely call it DLC.
What is it?
Okay, think of a Lego world, but you have to pay for certain blocks in the game. That's essentially what Creation Club. Yes.
Yes.
But isn't it more? It's more like
let our expert Ricardo explain a little bit of the Creation Club and its pricing. You wrote down a lot of notes, I see.
Yes. Most of the notes are like the prices of the content they're offering, and then like how much the tiers are, like how much you got to pay for like each credits and stuff.
Okay.
So basically, Bethesda's Creation Club is like a collaboration between Bethesda and like other people that work with them and stuff, and they create these kind of things. Like for, let's see here, for example, like this one, like Morgan's spacesuit, it's like 300 credits, and so it's gonna be like around $4
$4 for a suit.
For a suit, yep. And some of these things are like also like already free on the internet, like as mods themselves. Like for example, the Hellfire power armor or the Chinese stealth armor. The power armor was 500 credits, so it's like around $5. Chinese stealth armor is around $4, and there's already like free versions of them online with better customization and a variety and such. Like the ones you're paying for, like the Chinese stealth armor, I've seen that you only get the armor, and that's pretty much, and you like crouch and you go invisible. That's it. While the free version.
And how much is that stealth armor?
400 credits, which is like $4 around.
$4.
That's so
for power ups. Oh, you want Mario's flower, fire flower? Oh, that's $5 for you, buddy. Oh my gosh, that is insane. And then
the invincibility star, $10.
Did you write down anything that was like really absurd pricing?
Really? Okay, look. Okay, so recently the Creation Club came out for Skyrim, and right now, well, they're offering the survival mode little thing that they're doing right now. For a week, they were giving up for free. Like when it first releases, but then after that, you got to pay 800 credits.
Is it a week after the game after that got released, or a week for the player?
A week after it gets released.
Okay.
So after that, it's like 800 credits or around $8. $8. Thing is, though, like the minimum amount of credits you can get is like 750 credits, which is like $8 ish, $750 ish. So that you're like 50 credits short. The next amount of credits you can get is 1,500 credits, which is $15.
You have to spend $15 for something that costs around $850.
800, yeah, 850, because you were like 50 credits short.
That is insane.
So you got to pay $15 for survival mode.
I hate in-game currency. In-game currency.
Can you buy like
for anything can just die.
Can you just buy like 400 and another 400?
No, you can't. You got to pay either like $8 worth, $15 worth, or $25 worth. You can't like pay what you need. You got to pay like this set amount.
That is so dumb.
That's crazy.
Imagine if Steam did that. That would make me really mad.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Steam is amazing.
Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, Bethesda is doing this for.
And it's not the first time they tried it before.
Yeah, the first time they tried it, oh my gosh! Within 2 days, the system fell apart because people got to choose their prices for how much the DLC was worth, and some of the DLC was just really stupid. It was some of the stupidest DLC out there, and it was like $100, $200, $300.
And some of it was even stolen too.
Yeah, it was insane. Some people weren't getting the credit. So Ricardo, do you have any websites in mind? Of people who are dedicated to making Skyrim mods?
The one that comes off of the top of my head and is probably the most well-known would be the Nexus.
All right, so everyone out there, if you play Skyrim, support the Nexus. Do not support the Creation Club. And here's the thing. Here's why Bethesda might not attack. What was that? Oh my gosh, okay. So what was it? There was something on YouTube, something about the modders winning, and I think it was with Persona 5. How people were modding Persona 5 to be able to play on the computer, but Atlas tried to take them to court, but they lost that court case because one, the fans were supporting them. They were supporting them through Patreon to pay for the lawsuit, and two, it was considered fair use the way they were using that code to use on the computer. So, and then gosh, what was it? T2 took down like one of the biggest GTA mods out there, and it's insane. So you have to support the community. The community needs the support. Yeah. So don't spend your money on the Creation Club. Do not spend money on the Creation Club. Support the Nexus, and if Bethesda ever goes after the Nexus or anything like that, then make a petition or something like that showing support to these modders, because they're the people who make the game. They're the people who make pretty much Skyrim, pretty much limitless. It's a limitless game, limitless possibilities. It's going to be played for generation to generation to generation because of the amount of ways you can play it, and that's because of the community. It has nothing to do with Bethesda. They made the base game, and the DLC came from the community, not from Creation Club, not for the $4 stealth suit. All right?
Basically, don't support DLC. Support the modders.
It's ruining the industry. It's ruining the community. It is not benefiting the community at all. In any way, I don't see this benefiting them in any way. Unless 100% of what they made went to them and not to Bethesda, then I would be a little different. But they never said what the split was with the creators and Bethesda. So I don't know that. And if they never say it, then I wouldn't trust Bethesda. I wouldn't trust them as far as I can throw them, and I can't throw buildings. So, so yeah, we've been talking a lot about money. We talked a lot about money last time too.
Cash money.
So we need a different title for this. We need a different title. Can anyone think of a title?
The way we pay.
The way we pay. Yes. Yes, the way we pay, how we pay for video games, because that is important. How you pay is how the industry will continue for the next generation. And if you are out there making games, please make good games so that young people can be developers in the future. Don't make these free-to-play games anymore. Don't make this Creation Club thing, and don't give us $100 DLC when we don't need it. All right.
I would just say one thing to always keep in mind is this industry almost died once thanks to that ET game, and it was a cash grab for an industry that was taking off, and people were like, let's just make as many games as we can that aren't good and just try to get money out of people's pockets, and it almost killed an amazing industry. So
yeah, this industry needs a jump start. Yeah, if I've ever seen one,
we need quality games that people are making for the love of the game, not for like the cash money that comes from it.
When you do see a game, support it. That's all we can say is support it. Supporting it does not mean spending money. It doesn't really mean that. It just means telling your friends. It means sharing it, just making sure that the game gets attention. Because one of the ways, I always ask myself, how do these AAA developers always make money? And it's because they have so much advertising. People will always buy something that they see over and over and over again. So, we can do the same thing. That when you see a game, like for me, like Cuphead, tell everyone you can. And that's really all you can do, but it does work. It really does work. We've seen with things like Let's Plays that when a game gets enough attention, it will blow up. That's how Flappy Bird got.
Yeah.
Yes.
The creator made $50,000 a day with zero advertising budget, and that was because of Let's Players.
Yeah.
So the community can make a big difference with the gaming industry. Well, yeah, I'm sorry I brought up Flappy Bird, but I needed it for the analogy.
I still have it on my phone.
Oh my god.
I have not. Right now. I had to delete it because I got a new iPad. My old iPad I had to get rid of, so I don't have Flappy Bird anymore. So yeah, that's a sad story.
What a tragedy.
It's a sad story. It's a very sad story.
Tragic end to this podcast.
It's right here.
All right. Well, now. Oh, wait, what happened?
It doesn't work on iOS 11.
Oh no!
No! They ruined it.
Gosh.
My life is a lie.
So now you have to delete it.
Yeah. No, I'm going to keep it.
Well, smartphone gaming is truly dead here today, folks. We witnessed it. We witnessed the death. So any last words?
I'm just really upset about
yeah,
Flappy
no, I'm
Bird.
sorry about Flappy Bird. I can't conclude. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna go home and cry.
Yeah, I'm depressed now. I have nothing else to live for now. So, oh gosh.
Okay.
I'm in a deep depression that only hundreds of dollars of DLC can satisfy.
Yeah. Let's all go home and go into bankruptcy because we're spending all our money on DLC.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Yep,
This
care.
is the way we play.